So first off, we're starting with Elios here. And first fight, we know what happened in the first fight. Atlanta wins it. But now I want to show you guys how Dafran uses his bubble, because it's going to be very important for how Dafran plays, like on Zarya. It's very apparent that he's focused around bubble usage, as well as the tracking and all. He's not that much like Sinatra's Zarya, for example. So you'll see solid positioning around corners, playing safe. Purple God Jesus, thanks so much for the sub. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so uses his self bubble. That's the first thing. Now, he doesn't use the friendly bubble, because if he uses the friendly bubble, Paris can then use their friendly bubble and engage. I think this is an anti-strat that they have prepared against Paris, because it seems like Paris has the same idea when they go on Hollywood or other maps versus other teams. They usually engage with the bubble after, because then they can have a bit more damage mitigated. Then Paris never end up. I don't think it doesn't look like they end up using their bubble on Ben Best. So Ben Best, automatically gets focused down and dies. He gets booped. Also no bubble. Suin is facing the complete different direction. So down here, there's Dako, Pokpo, and Dogman on point. And Suin here, he's all focused on the enemies behind on point, which leaves Ben Best open for boop, and that's how Ben Best dies. You could argue that the bubble usage is very late on Dafran, but I don't think so. He tries to intentionally body block Ben Best so that he can do more damage and his teammates can do more damage. And then he gets bursted down before Suin can apply any bubble. Nico goes down quickly after, and then bubble on friendly comes, because it doesn't have any value any later until Paris resets. So in the second fight, it's at 0.45. Let's go to 0.45. Tiny bit here. Okay, so he's on high ground now. He's gonna poke here. Just getting some ult charge. Who knows where. If Paris go alley, he can shoot above the shield with right clicks. If they go coast, well, you're gonna see what happens. They still keep this Metra. So I think Atlanta, well, I think Dafran just gets a brilliant idea to soak the stun or take the stun and then let Paris drop down and engage into them afterwards, because they have no more stun. They try to pick off Dafran, but they don't have enough damage. Dafran also gets matrixed, so some of the damage is just matrixed. Let's see how it goes. You can clearly see here that they are preparing for coast. So he drops down, and Dafran knows that the enemies are coming here, right? He knows, he hears EP, and he's on the edge just because of this stun. He's not even close to dying, right? So they drop down, they fake, pulling back, now they re-engage. And they go in, boom, Finzi dies, Ben Best dies. And as Paris now, well, you have to switch off your Symmetra to go deeper, right? Dafran, he's back up on high ground. And he's playing very safe compared to before. Like before, when he was on the high ground, he wasn't very safe, right? But now he is. He's farming grab, and he's very disciplined with the bubbles. You see, he doesn't use bubbles to get energy, even though he's on 30 energy here. He waits. And I think this is Atlanta style of just using Zarya. Maybe it's the France style. Ben Best dies, that's it. 4 fight. 0-1-44. So I mentioned that Finzi, he ends up going for the left side high ground. And Dafran here, he sees it. Finzi over here. Now he has Grav. And a stack of Paris players, they pop out on the side. He decides, I'm just gonna grab. So he goes for the long range grab after the reload. And this is gonna be something that you notice over and over with Dafran specifically. I think this is just Dafran's way of... only Dafran seems to be doing this. So if you would be looking from Paris' perspective, unfortunately I don't have it, it wouldn't seem like Dafran is about to use Grav. He's not in position for it. He's, you know, who in the right mind right now sends out a long range or like medium range Grav? Turns out Dafran does it. They don't get anything right now. But I feel like he has very quick reactions, and that's the highlight of this. This is how the boop comes in. So that's Masa's boop that wasn't visible from the main stage perspective that we had before. Now he's back on high ground, doing the same thing again. He's not punished for it. And Paris, they seem to bash their heads into the wall by trying to go for the same rotations. Cruz deliberately tries to go for the wall right here. He gets poked down because of the positioning from the Dafran. Like what can you do when you just shoot above the Rhine shield, right? Pokpo bubbled, just intercepting and killing here. Very easy, right? So now they open with Rissa Torb. And from the Dafran's perspective, well, we saw this earlier. They wait with the turret. And I think they wait with the turret whenever it's anything but... Well, whenever it is Winston goats, they use... what's it called? They use the engage to drop down the turret, right? When they are playing run goats, then they place the turret up here, for example. Or they create a crossfire somewhere else, right? So Winston engages, turret comes down behind, they can't reach the turret. And I feel like this is very solid because if the turret, how to say, as the Winston goats, you need to engage at some point, right? You need to engage and you can't just poke because you have no poke compared to Atlanta. I think that's why they keep the Rissa as well. But they position themselves so that Masa can go for boops. It's very easy to play Lucio here just on the outside of cage. There's so many walls. And they're making Paris play into them. Then second fight, they do the same. They keep the turret in the same place. And they don't redeploy the turret. Actually, they don't keep the turret in the same place. Because you see, the turret is gone here, right? So I think he just drops it into the same location. Paris, they try to engage from a different location. They try to go main, or, you know, just mix it up. Turret goes down. And I think Paris, they try to bait out the turret. So that's why Dafran goes aggressive here. I don't think he expected... I don't think Paris expected him to be aggressive. Because Paris, they very obviously tried to dive without knowing what's behind the wall, right? It's like Ben Best doesn't see Dafran up here. Why would you need to dive here? Well, obviously because of Dogman, but I think you just bubble, kill everyone else instead because you're gonna get one shot as Winston. Dafran goes for a chase. I feel like he's a bit too optimistic here. Maybe he was expecting Dako to go boop. Who knows? But yeah, he ends up dying. He has lava, comes back with lava. And the lava is just supposed to be stalling. Especially since there's a monkey here. And I don't think Atlanta has planned out the strat that much. Like they leave a lot of room for the players to be, how to say, free. They can add or remove stuff they want on the fly, and it's more like a what's it called? It's more like what's the word for it? It's more like a freestyle play. Yeah, they play it more freestyle. Yeah, more like freestyle, free flow. Yeah, very open. And yeah, the VOD is like exploding here on my screen, but quality is fine now. Okay. So they try to keep the fight going as long as possible. The thing with Torb is if you never die, well, if you can keep the fight, if you win the first fight, you can try a snowball. So here's the thing: his teammates are dying. He's the only one left. I don't think he has thought of switching to Zarya yet. He has. He probably is like tunneling a bit onto the enemies or trying to stay alive. And maybe the teammates are saying, let's reset. And he could be resetting, but or like stall, who knows. But all he needs to do is stay alive on point as long as possible, and then suicide. I think that by throwing down the turret here, he gives a bit too much ult charge, because he expects something to be around the corner, right? It's a very like minimal like thing, but giving the extra ult charge, I think he planned to stay alive probably. Then he switches to Zarya. He switches to Zarya just because he wants to be building Grav. They need to win one more fight, and in theory they have around 3 fights. The reason they go right, it's because they can bait enemies into right side, and then they can sort of lock, you know, they shift the positions of Paris this way. He uses the bubble when Winston lands, because Winston is not going to jump away. He's going to keep zapping, gets a ton of energy, and this is what I think Atlanta had in mind with popping Trance and Rally. You want to pop Trance and Rally early because they can focus on doing damage and going all in with Zarya. That's probably also why they keep Pokpo on Orisa, because he can fortify. However, Pokpo uses fortify when Dogman trances, so he leaves without defensive cooldown. He only got 26% from that fight. Here's a big mistake. Pokpo, Masa, and Dafran, they leave the rest of the squad. So Erster and Dogman, unfortunately, they gotta be sacrificed and they end up dying. And now all the charge built up on Zarya is gone. And I think this was called that Pokpo either did or Dafran did, because they saw Cruz. And they focus a lot on Cruz, like in this series. They focus so hard on killing Cruz, so maybe they didn't expect that Paris would punish him. he's gonna have a lot of trouble with his bubbles. They're not gonna get energy because Paris, they're focusing on not giving him energy by not shooting at them. Atlanta, they tried to do the same with Soon's bubbles, and both of them remain at very equal levels of energy. You see here, he tries to pop a bubble, only gets 15%. Not that much. A very good discipline by Paris to not shoot the bubble. He then uses an energy bubble on Pokpo, doesn't get anything. And now they do the same versus Soon, and it goes back and forth. So yeah. Even though he's low on energy, he focuses Benbest here. You know, he still sticks to his objective. I don't think he's meant to farm Grav quickly here. Like, it's a plus, it's a side objective. But they're pressuring Benbest here, because he can't recharge his shield just like he wants. Pokpo, he's gonna have the lower amount of shield. And now they wanna look for Paris bubble usage as well, because I think that the Atlanta probably goes with the rule of thumb that if they use bubbles first, they should expect that the enemy team uses bubbles as well. If the enemy team uses bubble, you gotta use your bubble. So Benbest focused here, and I think there's a call maybe where they want to engage. Maybe Masa is making the call. I think it's Masa, because he ends up looking to Masa and Pokpo. Just to show you guys here, he's looking straight forward right now, all the time straight forward to Benbest. So whoever is calling Benbest here, I think Dafran is listening. He's not the caller. And once Masa moves in, he looks to Masa and Cruz. Because there's no reason for him to look to the side right other than that, you know, paying attention to the Lucios. So he's probably bubbling his Reinhardt here to bait a bubble from the enemies, and he probably looks, I don't know, like, this is very far-fetched, but he looks for the timing to see how Masa, like, if he gets booped back, like, then it's too early to bubble Pokpo. But he probably bubbles so that they burst it. He tries to anticipate damage as well. Bursting, they try to burst their bubble as well. That's why he goes so far forward. Because he's gonna left click walk forward, right click melee, and just do all the damage he can. And that's to set up the boop on Reinhardt here. Then he walks backwards in the same direction that Benbest is booped into. And then just focusing down Benbest. That's it. Then they push up forward, try to get Grav. And yeah, now next up is the elevator play. So him and Masa, they're setting up play on the elevator here. Boom, boom, shooting the Grav. This is insane. So what happens now is everyone here is gonna get grabbed. He doesn't have any energy, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's a pretty good grab. Daco goes for bomb. Pokboy tries to pin Reinhardt, gets Cruz instead. Doesn't really matter, right? And they end up getting a big fight. Now let's go for next fight. 1836. Here. So they, in the fight after, they get wiped, use ults, etc. Now, Dafran goes around Benbest, and he tries to lock. This is the last fight, not last fight actually, but he tries to go around Benbest in order to lock him into a corner. Actually, this is the last fight they have on the second point. So they're gonna keep track of crews. I don't know who makes the calls. I feel like it's Masa. Yo, Alex, thank you so much, man. And welcome back. So yeah, there's a call on crews because Dafran keeps looking at crews and shooting him. I think the play is to force Benbas back here and lock him into a corner with body blocking. So he walks around. He tried to turn his shield so that he can get discorded. And now he intentionally puts himself behind Benbest. That's why he saves his friendly bubble, self bubble, I mean. And because Benbest can't turn now, everyone else can shoot him in the back. And this is a strong play by Atlanta. Just punishing defensive, punishing bad reaction time by Paris. And I think Paris didn't expect this, and that's why they had that reaction time. They're probably trying to analyze it in the moment. Everyone dies, that's it. Nothing more special, no, he just bubbles, builds energy. Oh yeah, well, here's the thing. On second point, third point, they're gonna get grabbed. He's right outside of the range. He walks into the grab in order to be able to bubble for the bomb, right? So he bubbles himself and he bubbles Daco, I think. No, Reinhardt. He bubbles Pogba above him. No one dies from the bomb as well. And Paris, they use up their beat. Here's another one. Here's another one. You barely missed it. Builds up Grav. And he's gonna do a Dafran Grav. I think this could be coined as Dafran Grav, because only Dafran does this. Okay, so it looks like he's about to escape, right? It looks like Paris has won the fight. Exactly, yeah, I think so as well. He uses his Grav. I don't know how to play back in VLC, but I'm gonna try and pause it right frame. So a Dafran Grav, it's a Grav that is not telegraphed. Like it's basically going against every gut feeling that you'd have when looking at Dafran, because he's not positioned to Grav. It's not the right time. He doesn't have the aim. Well, the crosshair is not placed where, well, he's not looking with his crosshair in the same way that someone that has Grav would look. He doesn't look for an opportunity. Well, he does, but not with the crosshair. He keeps it still, but he probably keeps looking outside of the crosshair, like this actively, while holding it still, and just chucks the Grav. Now, why does he do this? Well, Hip, he uses his trance. And the fight was won. So because Dafran pulled out the trance here, he keeps that energy, like 100 energy. This is a lot of energy to just let him walk away with. They can walk in next fight. They have no support ults. He's gonna farm up a Grav, and Paris, they just lose here. He's gonna do this again on defense. I seriously think this is intentional by Dafran. The type of Gravs. So he punishes soon. Cruz tries to save him, then he goes for damage on Cruz. And you see, he has 60% now. This is basically a new Grav. That's why he uses these Gravs. He has the tracking to farm up new Gravs, and the thing that allows him to do this is if he keeps the energy. That's when he does it. I think if he doesn't do these Gravs unless he's able to walk away with energy. Sometimes he might. I've seen too little to know exactly. So yeah, they end up capping here. Dafran, he's doing well. Now let's see defense. On defense, he keeps waiting with the bubbles for Pogpo, and I think the intention is to wait until Paris engages and then hard focus on Benbest with the energy. I think that's the play, but also I think that's Dafran's job. But someone else in the team, for example Erster and Masa, they might try to keep Cruz under control so that Pogpo doesn't get booped. But it feels like he only uses self bubbles here, so that's maybe also why he's waiting with the friendlies. So they try to check. They see, okay, they're not there. Walking back. He uses his friendly bubble, well, self bubble, but I think Dako kinda screwed him over because Dako matrixed at the same time. So the fire strike here is eaten. Actually, is it? No. Might not be, my bad. He's playing very, very strict to the corner here. You see how he focused Finzi and Benbest? He's playing very safe, very safe. He has just the right amount of line of sight needed. He doesn't care about getting booped or anything. He can't get booped either, because he's playing a bit further out, since if Cruz would come from above, he wouldn't be booped like this, right? If he would be standing closer, then he would be able to be booped into the team. But since he's playing far away, Cruz would need to do like he would need wings basically to reach Dafran in order to boop him forward. So Cruz can only boop him backwards, which is why he's standing so far out. Keeping the focus on Benbest. And he's still only using his self bubbles. He doesn't need the 100 energy, because if he uses friendly bubble on Pogpo, Paris are gonna engage. However, the thing is, Cruz wins the corner on Juice. This is called Juice up here. So Cruz is gonna ride all along the wall here and go for boop on Dafran and Pogpo. Now I think this puts Dafran on, like it catches him off guard. And he ends up probably mistaking it for an engage. So that's why he uses bubble on Pogpo. And Paris, they just wait a tiny bit, then use their bubble. So there's the boop, forward. And here's the bubble. Maybe it's also Pogpo mispositioning, because Pogpo is getting pushed into this corner and no one can help him, right? There's no more bubbles. Can only do so much, and Soon seems to try the same type of punish that the friend does by walking behind and trying to body block. He also had a lot of energy. However, the friend, he manages to escape with energy, which is big. And he can now set up for grab. So here's the thing. He's gonna see Finzi shoot, and because he knows there's a 2-second delay between, being able to shoot, well, not 2 seconds, but he sees Finzi use Matrix, then he sees Finzi use normal shots, and because there's a small delay before you can activate Matrix, he simply goes for the grab. And this is another Dafran grab. It doesn't look like he's gonna grab, he doesn't have the positioning to grab. Like the diva is right in front of him, it's not expected, right? But he pulls out the grab at the least expected moments, if that makes sense. Like this is the Dafran grab. And he also doesn't move his aim, like he doesn't look anywhere. So if you're facing him, you might get the feeling that he's tunnel visioning, but he's not. See? Gonna show it again. I'll try and play it slower. Let's see. Speed. Slower. Wow, the video quality. Okay. So he's lobbing right clicks. Now he sees the barrage. And once Pogba puts up his shield, you see these small bullets? That's Diva damage. Like these small hits here. That's Diva damage. Grab just comes out. And this is insane reaction time by Mr. Dafran. I don't think anyone does this. So they just punish them. Easy punish here, I think. Oh yeah. This is when Cruz and Hip stack the defensives. I think the fact that they stack the defensives, it makes it seem that they had no expectations of this grab. That's why the defensives probably come out at the same time, because they both hadn't planned for it and they just react. They disengage, re-engage, shatter, and just clean up. Now, in the third fight, Paris, they're gonna come back with their own grab. They're gonna grab here in the corner. Dafran waits with the bubble. He turns around in order to bubble his Reinhardt, right? And because he's in front of his Reinhardt, he's gonna take the pin. So that's why he waits with his own bubble. Now he gets pinned, but he's bubbled. He doesn't take damage. Well, he's also grabbed. And then there's, Trance, etc. Beat came out because of Finz's bomb. But I just wanna tell you guys how strict he is with his bubbles. Like, he's not throwing the bubbles out. I feel like it's a dream to work with Dafran for these players when he's on Zarya. Like, he's so focused on the teamwork here. Dafran manages to survive. That's the important part. Keeps the energy, and he shoots himself into the ground so that he flies further, right? He comes out of spawn. He has the high energy. Now, watch his positioning. It's super strict. He sees that Ben Best is to the side. I feel like Dafran is a player that never turns with the mouse, you know, to look. It's probably the hand-eye coordination that's so good. Like, he keeps the... I don't know if he actually thinks of this consciously, like he can do it subconsciously as well. But he keeps the aim like this and probably sees Ben Best here, sees Cruz, etc. And this is insane. Well, it's insane to face, because you essentially can't know if a Zarya knows that she sees you, or it's the Zarya just being greedy, right? So it could be tricky for Paris to play against, because Paris might feel like, damn, should we punish him or should we not punish him? He keeps focusing Ben Best as well. So they block the Diva bomb. And now he has so much energy, just farms up a new grab. And next fight, he's gonna do another Dafran grab, but it'll come soon, right? He sees that Nico is out of position. Nico has been out of position all game along. So he's gonna punish him, right? This is the punish on Nico, because he tries to flail onto Masa. Because they don't want Masa to come from Sky and just whistle while dropping down here and booping Ben Best forward, right? Because they have been booping Ben Best forward all game. And while he's flailing, they just discord him. This is a strict punish with discord, and then quickly just damaging him. I think this is Dogman calling. Just gonna play back because of the quality there. Now, Nico, he ends up looking up to, I think, Diva here, looking for Boop on Diva. And then Masa comes in as well, so he probably tries to flail or stun the Masa. And Paris, they're probably thinking, well, not thinking, but they're probably using Nico to scout for Boops. I'm not sure, but probably ought to scout Boops. So they have like set roles for scouting. Most likely, I don't know. But he ends up being off position here, so Dafran just rushes him. Easy kill. You can see that Nico tries to strafe through the box. That's how unaware he is of Dafran coming in. So I think Nico is fully focused on protecting Benbest from being booped. Then they just run through, try to kill Soon, however there's a trance. Now watch this. This is another Dafran grab. He shoots it as he's turning. This is unique. No one else does this. Again. Grab out, turn. It doesn't look like he's about to grab, right? And I think this is a way to outplay Finzi. So Finzi is completely gone in this game. Like, he has no impact. Let's see what else happens. Oh yeah, he tries to save Pokpo in the next fight here. Pokpo, yeah, ends up being yeah, singled out here. Then there's nothing more special, you know, you just go in, frag out. Oh yeah. Actually, is there? No, there's no special. Like, he does his thing, he just kills. Right? Then I have 4 more timestamps for root. Then that's it for Dafran analysis. But Dafran, he has been a champ. So for first fight on attack, well, there's 5 timestamps. 56, 45. Let's see. Here. Instant target focus on cruise. Wow, I messed that up. Okay. So instant target focus on cruise up here. And I don't know who calls it, but there's no way, well, he can hear Cruz, right? But there's no way everyone in the team just knows exactly what Cruz is. So most likely someone target calling, focusing Cruz, they do it, he almost dies, gets saved, and now they can fall down and engage, right? There's no armor pack either. He tries to stay alive just to build up that grab. He has the high energy, uses self bubble, but he gets punished here by the corner. Because they pop the bubble, then stun lock him. Second fight. 58. Flat 58. Now, watch how strict he is with the bubble. He doesn't use the bubble until the engage happens. And he wanted to use the bubble on Pokpo. Excuse me. But Erster, he ends up getting into the way. And yeah, Paris used trance. Atlanta would have to use trance pulse rally in any case, right? But Dafran got his grab eaten by Finzi, and I feel like it was a bit too chaotic here in the comms, probably. Because you don't need to use trance plus rally and grab, because you're gonna lose the fight, right? I'm not sure though. Trance and rally comes out before the grab. So maybe it was Dafran, I don't know, going for a, you know, not lucky grab, it's more like you try to counter grab in order to fight after their trance, right? They try to counter the trance. So they lose that fight. Next fight is a tiny bit greedy positioning. And he has a bit greedy positioning because he probably underestimates the aggression from Paris, because Paris has been like a different team in this match. And he overestimates the cooldown of his bubble. So he's gonna walk a bit too close here, then get stunned. So he has his bubble. And this is where it gets a bit too aggressive. And sure, the bubble is about to come online, right? But Shatter comes out before. Unfortunate. He's close to grab. And here's another Dafran grab. This is a sick one. So Finzi, he's gonna step behind this sign here because he drops down. And as soon as he drop down, out of line of sight, Dafran goes for the grab. He doesn't even turn his aim anywhere else. He doesn't move, just goes for it. So Finzi, check him. Still on high ground here. Now Finzi drops down. I think they're intentionally baiting Finzi to drop down. He's out of line of sight. And there's the grab. Finzi over here. No way of eating it. And I think this is probably something Dafran has practiced, because he always does it when it's least shown. Especially with the reload animation cancel. Him dying, that's, you know, whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. Now, I don't have any more timestamps here. I just have a clip. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. So I found the clip. A second. Here's another example of when he's extremely disciplined with the bubbles. He knows that Paris, they have the grab combo. And he doesn't want to use his bubble on either himself or Pogba. He's gonna drop low on energy. But it's a trade-off he wants to do, because otherwise, you know, the team is gonna die, right? Still no use of bubbles. Now bubbles come out. And what happens? Well, you block the bomb. Shatter not blocked, unfortunately, but that's a different story. So yeah, that's the Dafran analysis. Hope you guys liked it.